Hi, Peter Charles here, Hooked for Life Fly Fishing, and today we're going to do a simple tie. It's sort of a caddis imitation, but it could be anything. If you added a tail to it, it could be a mayfly imitation. It's a pretty simple pattern, and you'll see it in a lot of fly boxes. You're a nymphing fisherman. So let's get going and have a look at the hare's ear. My hook is a Dohiku Type J in a size 10. I'm using tungsten slotted bead in a 1/8 size. The rib is gold wire, and this is a fine gold. My thread is 8/0 black Veevus. The rear part of the body is going to be this Lazer dub in a Sculpin olive. It's sort of more of a brown than anything else. And then I'm going to use some hare's ear for basically a collar. You can think of the thing as a taking the place of actually winding on a hackle. And that's where the hare's ear part comes in. Now, keep in mind, when you are mixing an artificial dubbing with a natural dubbing, the artificial tends not to change color in the water, and the naturals do. So what's going to happen is when you fish this, the hare's ear will be darker than the natural. And since it's kind of a thorax area, that'll work. That'll be just fine. So we'll start off by putting the usual bump at the back to keep the bead in place. Now for some gold wire. Brought that right to the bend. Now we're going to put on the Sculpin olive laser dub. Okay, let's take a minute to just look at this before I go any further. I've used black thread underneath this, and when you're dubbing fairly sparsely the way I did there, and you're using a black thread, what you in effect do is darken up the dubbing, and you also give it a bit of a mottled look to it as well, because in places the black is going to show through a little bit. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you look at insect bodies, you'll see that there are these areas in the abdomen where the body is got flecks of black or dark brown or something of that nature. So now we wind our gold wire. And now for the hare's ear. So if you can bulk this up, I'll leave that to your choice how thick you want to make this. I'm going to just thicken it up just a little bit. Now we whip finish. There we go. Our little hare's ear nymph. It's sort of a caddis imitation. And as I say, you could make the proportions a little longer and add a tail, and it becomes a mayfly imitation. But that that hare's ear at the front is going to darken up, and it's very spiky. It'll give it a appearance of legs. It'll do quite well for, I would think, for species of caddis pupa, for example, that have that kind of segmentation between the olive and another color which is darker and very spiky. So I think you could fish this very well as a caddis pupa, and I think it would work just great. So give it a try. That's a simple hare's ear. Cheers.